Hi everybody, this is Jeff Strauss, and in this video I'm going to be talking about situational awareness and situational adaptability. These are developing key competencies for high performance. Both of these, situational awareness and adaptability, are correlated very strongly with success at multiple levels in an organization, from entry level all the way up to senior management or executive. So they're real important competencies to develop as you're progressing through not only your career, but also your time as a leader or as a manager. Like my last video on managerial leverage, this video was adapted from a Substack article that I wrote. It was more of a short form article, but it dives a little bit deeply into situational awareness and adaptability. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into those concepts, but this is going to be a shorter video because, again, it was adapted from a written format, and I'm moving all of my written texts into video format. So what is situational awareness? Former Chief Scientist for the U.S. Air Force, Dr. Mika Endsley, defined situational awareness in her foundational 1988 study, Design and Evaluation for Situational Awareness Enhancement, as situational awareness is about knowing what is going on in the environment and its implications for the present and the future. This simple maxim appears straightforward, but it can be a real challenge in a fast-paced and complex environment, which makes it especially relevant for situations characterized by a high level of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, which is sometimes shortened to VUCA. So let's take a look at each of these domains in a bit more detail. The x-axis defines a level of knowledge. How much do you know about a given situation? The y-axis defines consequential prediction. How well can you predict the results of your actions? Volatility, in the first quadrant, is characterized by unstable or unexpected challenges of an unknown duration. Knowledge about the challenge isn't necessarily available, and it might not be hard to understand. In other words, the challenge itself might be fairly straightforward to understand, but knowledge about the challenge isn't necessarily readily available to you. The challenge is also dynamic and unpredictable. For example, the power in a hospital might go out after an earthquake, so the approach to mitigate this risk would be to invest in generators, coolers, a transport process to a secondary location, and so forth. The process can be expensive, and the investment should match the risk. Complexity, in the second quadrant, is characterized by interconnected parts and variables. Some information is available or can be predicted about the challenge, but the scale or type of problem can be overwhelming. For example, trying to ship goods across international borders into countries with different requirements, resources, or relationships to one another, introducing friction into what could be a straightforward process. Developing processes and workflows and strategies and bringing in expertise and other resources with knowledge of this particular functional area of the challenge can help address and reduce complexity. Ambiguity is in the third quadrant, and it occurs when causal relationships are entirely unclear. There are no precedents or previous experience from which to draw insights, and you're facing unknown unknowns. For example, your team is undergoing a merger with another team, and how you as an individual and your team will function as part of a larger unit without a common vision could be unclear. This is just an example, but for more on this topic, you can check out my 3-part series on teams available on my website, jeffstrauss.net, in the bootcamp section. Addressing ambiguity can be difficult, but ultimately comes down to understanding cause and effect relationships, and designing processes based on knowledge that can be applied in the future can help mitigate risks of ambiguity. Finally, in the fourth quadrant is uncertainty, characterized by a general lack of information about a challenge, though its cause and potentially its effect are clear. For example, your company acknowledges growing competition in the market and is going to market with a new product to stay in the lead. Here, sharing information is crucial, and intentional knowledge sharing networks must be built to increase collective intelligence and reduce uncertainty. Numerous models have been created that show how situational awareness can be applied in complex situations to help navigate VUCA. The most popular is Dr. Ensley's own 3-level model, which describes situational awareness as perceiving relevant information, understanding it, and predicting a future state based on that perception and understanding. Let's take a closer look. The first level of this model is perceiving. The key factors at this stage are access to and recognition of information. If, for example, you're managing a project and you aren't informed or aware of an issue that could cause a delay, for example, you don't have access to necessary information, then you can't effectively mitigate the risk. The second level of the model is understanding. At this level, the key factor is comprehending relevant information using mental models, which are simply representations of how something works. If you are managing a project and you're informed of an actual delay, not necessarily just a risk that could cause a delay, but you're informed of an actual delay, you must update your mental model of the project status based on this new information. In other words, leverage the new information to determine how you're going to adjust your project to be successful. And the third level of the model is predicting. The key factor here is the ability to predict future state, which is especially critical in complex environments where a change in one interdependent variable could influence the state of the entire environment. Incorrect or outdated mental models are a source of situational awareness breakdown at this level, simply because it's impossible to predict accurate output from inaccurate input. Let's talk a little bit about how we can develop our sense of situational awareness. Situational awareness is a trainable skill. You can use this simple, and it's simple, not easy, it's simple, process to help you improve yours. First, self-development. On my website, jeffstrauss.net, you can find numerous videos and writings focused on developing your skills, particularly those related to building trust and emotional intelligence. Use these resources to evaluate your strengths, weaknesses, and natural leadership tendencies when responding to stressful, novel, or unpredicted situations. Leaders with high emotional intelligence who can recognize their own and others' emotions actually exhibit stronger situational awareness. Second, observe. A leader must observe normal and abnormal conditions in the environment. Be aware of your surroundings and focus your attention on elements relevant to your goal. How might things develop in the short, medium, and long term? What alternative scenarios are possible? Which interdependencies are at play? Questions like this really help strengthen your skills of observation and make it become second nature. Third, review. Reflecting on past events should not be overlooked. Review processes are intended to help you learn from past incidents, and they should involve an analysis soon after an event has taken place to determine how the results may have deviated from your expectations. For a bit more detail on this, you can see my video on giving effective feedback and the associated resource guide, both available on my website, jeffstrauss.net. Now, when presented with a novel problem, ask yourself this question. Are we solving the problem we actually have, or are we making it look like a problem we're used to solving? If we ask ourselves this important question, we'll be in a much better place to address the challenges that come through any of the 4 quadrants of VUCA and leverage our situational awareness effectively for the particular engagement that we're dealing with. So we've spoken quite a bit about situational awareness. We've talked about the 4 quadrants of situational awareness, VUCA. We've talked about the 3-level model for dealing with situational awareness, and we've spoken in this slide about some strategies to develop. Now let's talk about situational adaptability. So to prime us on situational adaptability, let's take a look at a short video from the global organizational consulting firm Korn Ferry.
It's the ability to really flex to the situation that you found yourself in and adapt your personal style to the environment that you're at.
This is about being awake. It's about being awake in all situations at work, listening to the subtle cues of what's going on around you and making those minor adjustments so that you continue to be effective in any situation.
Proactively think about the engagement you're about to go into. Think about the audience that you're going to be engaging with.
Listen really deeply to what that person is trying to accomplish, what's important to them.
You need to be able to flex a bit, to adapt, to sort of respond to what's different about each situation. Am I being effective in this situation? And if not, how can I adjust? Your tone of voice, your approach, your style, your level of formality, all of these things I think of as little levers that you can pull to be more effective in a situation.
If you're going to be presenting to an executive team, that's going to look very different than what you're going to need to do with a project team of engineers.
When the organization sees that you're effective in a number of situations, you tend to get invited to more projects.
You're really confident in yourself and know that you will adjust to whatever situation you find yourself in.
You'll feel more present and in the moment with the groups that you need to engage with.
The best benefit of getting good at this is that you're comfortable no matter what environment you walk into.
So those skilled in situational adaptability show two well-honed type of intelligence: crystallized intelligence and fluid intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is the ability to remember and use information acquired by previous experience and education. Fluid intelligence is the ability to solve novel problems with little to no previous knowledge. The ability to amalgamate these two types of intelligence and adapt your approach and demeanor in real time to match the shifting demands of different situations is called situational adaptability. Now, among many reasons, situational adaptability is important because it enables you to provide firm direction in times of uncertainty. It allows you to be empathetic in times of stress and change, and be diplomatic in times of conflict. Those skilled in situational adaptability understand that different situations may call for different approaches, pick up on the need to change personal, interpersonal, and leadership behavior quickly, and seamlessly adapt styles to fit the specific needs of others. Now, adapting your approach to different situations requires you to be aware of their shifting demands in the first place, so you can see the importance of situational awareness as an input for situational adaptability. So let's speak about a few ways to develop your situational adaptability. Situational adaptability is one of the most difficult competencies to develop in people, but it's largely correlated with performance, promotability, and career derailment in individual contributors and leaders. In other words, if you're able to adapt, you're a better performer and are more likely to be promoted. Conversely, if you're not able to adapt, there's a stronger likelihood of you not surviving in the organization. Improving situational adaptability involves enhancing your ability to recognize, understand, and effectively respond to changing circumstances. Here are some practical ways to foster and develop this important skill. Cultivate self-awareness. Understand your default reactions, strengths, and areas for improvement. By recognizing your patterns, you can choose to respond differently in varying situations. One of the best ways to cultivate self-awareness is by regular reflection. Reflect on your own behaviors throughout the day, after meetings, or after a particularly pleasant or unpleasant conversation. Reflect on whether a particular outcome was a result of a specific behavior and whether the outcome could be changed if the behavior was changed. Adopt a growth mindset. Embrace new experiences, challenges, and training opportunities to expand your knowledge base and skill set. The book Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck is the classic tome on this subject. Highly recommended. Next, role play. Regularly consider various potential scenarios and think about how you would respond to them. Role-playing in this manner is one of the most effective ways to prepare yourself and your team for novel situations. While you can't necessarily role-play a specific unknown scenario, you can begin to cultivate the behaviors and responses necessary to successfully adapt to new stressful situations. Next, expand your network. Engage with a diverse group of people. Their perspectives and experiences can offer insights that you might not have considered, helping you adapt to various situations. My presentation on mapping your developmental network goes in depth on this topic and is available on my website, jeffstrauss.net. Next, stay positive. This one is not, a positive attitude is not focused on enough. Having a can-do attitude and looking for solutions rather than dwelling on problems can help you adapt more easily. If you're a leader, and we're all leaders in some capacity, you should model the behavior you want to see from others. Have you ever experienced the power of a toxic attitude? A positive attitude can be just as infectious and in a much nicer way. Next, manage your stress. High stress can hinder your ability to think clearly and adapt. Stress relieving techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or physical exercise can help you detangle the knots that stress can create of an unpredictable or novel situation. Whenever I read about a new stress relief, meditation, or other self-care technique, I actually share it with my team so we can all benefit. So we adapt to new situations every day, even if we don't realize it. Every time we get in our cars to take a routine trip to the store, we're adapting to a new configuration of cars on the road, a group of cyclists, or a car speeding out of a driveway. Being skilled in situational adaptability means you're aware of the complexities in a given situation, and you can be flexible and act differently when required because no two situations are exactly alike. If you can meet the needs of the moment, you will be more effective at any undertaking. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. If you did, please like and share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, or follow me on social media. It really gives me the motivation to continue producing content like this entirely for free so we can help each other as leaders develop into the best possible versions of ourselves for ourselves, those we lead, or those who look up to us. You can find this video and many more like it on my website, jeffstrauss.net, and you can follow me on social media on Instagram and TikTok at Strauss on Leadership. Thank you so very much.